Is your mic good?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to our live meet and greet. Welcome, church. LBC online here with our new interim lead pastor, Jeff and Ruth Germo. So the church is super excited to meet you both. And obviously with COVID restrictions, we can't let everybody can't have you over for dinner, and you can't just sit in everybody's living room. So we thought as a church we could do a live meet and greet, create a bit of a living room. We're sitting in your living room at home right now, and it's really just to get to know you both tonight. That's kind of the point of this, so that the church can meet you both, hear a little bit about your background, hear a little bit about who you are as people, how you met, those sort of things, just really to get to know you. So basically how tonight will work is the church has submitted, or a number of people have submitted questions, and so we'll just kind of go through some of those questions, really in a conversation style. We may not be able to get to every question because we do kind of have, we don't want to go all night and on as much as that would be fun to do. Cody is also monitoring online. So do you have some instruction for people watching online right now? They're on YouTube or they're on Facebook, whatever they're watching on. What's some instruction to people to submit some questions?
Type them in the chat.
That easy. It's that easy.
Be clear so that I know how to ask your question.
Okay, so clear questions. We want engagement. Ask it in the chat. Cody's monitoring it right now live. And like I said, we may not be able to answer every question. You'll kind of act as a filter because we're out there in the world, so we don't know. But questions around your guys' background. Who are you? How'd you end up at LBC? Those kind of questions is really what we're looking for. We're probably not going to go down the route of theological questions or hard questions or complicated questions. That's not the point. We can do that another night. I think the plan is we'll do some more of these in the future. But really to get to know you guys tonight. One person even specifically sent in, they said the church can't wait to meet you in person. They're so excited to get to know you both. We're really excited as a church to have you both here. This last year we've been in kind of a transition mode, year and a half, looking for a lead pastor. And so you guys have agreed to come here. And it's called an interim lead pastor. So maybe even before we get to know you, what does that mean, and what does that kind of look like, I suppose?
That's a great question. And I'm trying to figure that out myself. I've never done interim work before, so this is the first time I've been an interim pastor, and so I'm just figuring that out.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of an awkward position because it's not, I don't have the full authority of a lead pastor, but still we need to accomplish some of the same things. And so it's sometimes the title is transitional pastor, and so it's a transition between the time when one pastor leaves and another one is going to be called, and right. So I think my main role now that I've been given is to prepare the church, prepare the staff for the time when a new lead pastor can be called in.
Right. But so as a church, to be a member of the church is it's exciting to know that you're both here, because we've needed this, we've needed the lead position. So that's really exciting, and that's why the church and we all and the staff, we really want to get to know you guys on a personal level. So I guess the first kind of question really is to put it to you guys. Tell us a bit about yourselves. Like, who are you as people, and just a little bit about both of yourselves.
Who is Ruth Germo?
That's right. Who is Ruth?
I've got a question for you. Where were you born?
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Thank you. That's easy. Start with the easiest one. I was born in Saskatoon, so I'm a prairie boy, stubble jumper. Born in Saskatoon, and was there in Saskatchewan, in various places in Saskatchewan until 68. So I'm pretty old. I'm in my 50s right now,
Today and tomorrow.
and Thursday
So
I'm
your
going to be in
birthday-
my 60s.
So your birthday's coming up.
I know, it's weird.
When is that?
Thursday,
On
day after
Thursday.
tomorrow.
Thursday.
So staff meeting, we got to remember that, Cody. New boss's birthday.
Yeah, it's weird turning, changing from the 50s to the 60s. 50s wasn't a big deal, but 60s feels. I was talking with somebody else yesterday, another pastor who's 61, and I asked him what it was like for him to turn 60, and he said it was very strange. It was. He said he could handle any other age, but when he got to 60, it was just bizarre. And so Thursday, I'm expecting to be laying in the fetal position in my bed or maybe walking with a cane or something. I don't know, a walker.
See, we
So-
were guessing, and
Yeah. Do you remember what it was like when the earth was formless and the spirit hovered over the surface of the deep? Or
Thank you.
ouch.
Vaguely he does.
I love
Vaguely?
it.
Okay.
Vaguely. Yeah, we were guessing your age, and we weren't even close.
Yeah.
We were way younger, way younger.
What did you guess?
Excellent.
Like,
I kept saying in your 40s, so
Oh man, I love you.
yeah, right? Around there.
Thank you. That's awesome. Ruth, how old are you?
Oh, not allowed to ask
I'm
that.
way younger than you are. So, and I was born in Lyndon, Alberta.
Okay, where were you born? That's easier.
That's right, Lyndon. No, I wasn't. I grew up there. I was born in Calgary because that was the nearest hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a Mennonite farming community northeast of Calgary.
Okay.
So Saskatoon, northeast of Calgary. When did you guys come to BC? And well, I guess back it up. How did you even meet? You know, people want to know how you met.
Good question. You want to go?
We met at Bible College in Calgary. Jeff had moved to Calgary in 1968. That's not when he started going to Bible College. That happened later. And yeah, so we were going to Foothills Christian College in Calgary, Alberta.
And Ruth was a senior, her last year, and it was my first year.
But even in spite of that, I'm way younger than
So
he is.
you're her senior, but she's your senior in education.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And she was.
That's right.
Yeah. and so we were both in choir together, and there was a choir retreat the first weekend of school, and I didn't know anybody in school, and she had been there for 4 years or whatever, and so I walked. It was at Chestermere Lake Bible Camp, and I walked into the main center there at the camp, and I didn't know anybody, and I saw her across a crowded room, and she was playing cards with a guy, and they were having lots of fun, and she was smiling and laughing, and this thought flashed across my mind, and I kid you not,
This is so sweet.
I love it.
is I'm going to marry her.
Wow.
That's like it was instantly, and it was just very bizarre, and then I put it out of my mind, but I had my eye on her the whole time still.
did you do the classic Bible college move where you said, "Hey, God told me that I'm supposed to marry you," or
I did not.
no?
He did
Okay.
not, but my friend who was a social convener had planned this event called Secret Admirers Week, and she actually set us up.
She did.
He's a good
Wow.
friend.
That is a good,
Good
friend.
friend.
So, okay, so you have your eye on her. You guys are maybe in choir together. How did you, I guess, ask her out? And then, how did you propose? Or, Ruth, how did you propose? Maybe we'll get it from you.
Yeah, we don't want to assume.
yeah.
Well, like I said, there was a Secret Admirers Week. So, well, we were going to college together, and it was a small college, so we had lots of time and we were in choir together, so lots of time to just be friends, hang out as friends, and we liked to go bike riding together. And then in Secret Admirers Week, Kim Weeb, if you're watching, thank you, she and her cronies on the social committee put all the names of the girls in a hat and picked them and assigned them to one to each of the guys. It's really great that there was exactly the right number of girls and guys. I don't know how that worked. And then Jeff was given my name, and then he had to send me flowers and candies and whatnot. All else that wouldn't work now.
Write songs and poems. And
Yes, that's
Did it
right.
right. He did it right.
Yeah, and then the girls had to guess at the end of the week. The guys had to bring dinner for the girls, and we all ate in the gym. And the girls had to guess in the form of a poem. So I wrote a poem guessing that it was Jeff.
Do you remember the poem?
I do.
You do. Do we dare put
I
you on
don't
the spot?
really know if they want to hear that poem.
Did you write it?
I wrote the poem.
You wrote
Yes,
the poem.
Yes,
Right,
guessing
right.
who Jeff was.
But I think I wrote
Right,
a
I
song
like
for you,
it.
I
didn't
don't
I?
know. Do people in chat want to hear the poem?
Yeah.
We can maybe
We don't-
talk about.
Maybe another day. Maybe another time. We can let you off the hook on that. So, okay, so you guess he's a secret admirer.
Yeah.
Um,
He asked me to a David Meese concert as part of that whole thing.
You guys know who David Meese is?
Google it.
Do you not know? Oh, weird.
Well, he's an old.
How
he's,
do I know?
I don't know.
probably-
How do you know, Cody?
He's probably
Mom?
80 by now. I
No,
don't know.
no.
What?
He's probably not over 70.
Sorry, David Meese, if I offended you.
David.
So you guys start going out then from there, or
No. Jeff asked me
Uh-oh.
out, but I said I was busy graduating and I just needed to focus on my
You were-
studies.
yeah, you're a senior.
Yeah.
He's a junior. He's just getting.
I
in
knew
there.
nothing.
Yeah, you didn't know anything. You're busy now.
Busy. And so after grad, then we started going out, especially going for bike rides. As I mentioned, we've always enjoyed that. And somebody has a question. No?
But I think
Yes.
I asked you to the David Meese concert, and I was super nervous. I was sort of, trying to be cool, and I wasn't cool at all, and looking really.
I thought you were cool.
Yeah, and I was feeling really awkward, and I think looking really awkward. So I asked her to the David Meese concert, and which was, I think, 3 months down the road or something, and I couldn't wait for 3 months down the road to go out with her, and so I said, "How about we go to a movie?" And so we went to the movie Color Purple. Whoopi Goldberg.
We did.
And
Oh, you know it?
Oprah Winfrey. Yeah.
The other people.
I know Whoopi Goldberg and
Okay,
Oprah.
there you go. This is way back in the day. This is before you were born.
No, I think maybe he was already born.
Yeah, you were born.
David Meese is 68, by the way.
Oh,
There, pretty
okay,
close to my
sorry,
guess of
David
not
Meese.
over 70.
And then, I think, so we went to that movie, and then we went to The Gods Must Be Crazy.
That's right. Have you heard of that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy? It's kind of.
I know that one.
You
You
know
got it?
that
Yeah.
one.
I love it.
Cody, you are
Yeah,
He's
impressive.
cultured. He's
pop
cultured.
cultured genius.
Like 80s cultured.
Yeah, there you go.
I would like to tell a story about that. If
Oh yeah, do
you
tell.
think,
Please.
would you like me to tell
Fine.
my favorite story about that?
Go ahead.
Yes. So it's about a cool story from Africa, and it starts off with lots of setting the scene and some nice cinematography. Is that the right word? And some history of this Maasai tribe, I think it is.
No, it's not Maasai because they're pygmies, I think.
Oh,
Maasai's are
opposite.
tall.
Right. Think the opposite. Anyways, it's a bit of a slow start, but it's very beautiful to look at. And after a few minutes, Jeff said to me, "Is this a documentary?" And I said, No, it just has a bit of a slow start. Just wait. And so after a few more minutes, he said, "Are you sure this isn't a documentary?" And so then we're watching a bit longer. And a few minutes later, he says, "Do you know what a documentary is?"
Ooh. You're
But
a
then
graduate. You of
I
course.
did know what a documentary was. And then the movie kind of picked up, and it's very entertaining.
It's one of my
and
favorite movies.
It's very sweet, yes.
Yeah.
Yours too.
Have you seen it, actually?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
Did you like it as much as we did?
I thought it was funny. I haven't watched it in quite a while. So, was it clean? What's it rated?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
It's
was-
very, very
very
Okay,
good.
good. Yeah,
clean.
it was great then.
I
Very
haven't watched it since 1986.
No, I think we did watch it again since then.
Okay.
I was born.
But yeah, it's
I was
very
born
a
then.
very great movie for families for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so then fast forward, you guys get married
1986.
in '86. Awesome. Okay, so not that far fast forward, just a short little fast forward.
That's right.
Any children?
No kids. Couldn't have kids, and so we have invested in other people's kids,
Brilliant.
and so we have a daughter in Australia who was in Camel River, and I baptized her and her fiance then,
Mm.
and they're married now, and we have a Chinese son in Vancouver or Richmond, and we have another daughter in Calgary, and so we've sort of invested in a lot of people who maybe they didn't have a healthy home life, some of them, and so yeah.
That's awesome. We have a real good culture at this church of families who are involved in fostering and adoption, and that's kind of one of the big values of the people here is pouring into other people, who may not be your biological family, but they've become family. And
That's beautiful.
yeah, and that's something to me that really speaks about this congregation is that people care so much about the people around them.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, we've seen that in the very short time that we're here, and we've hardly met anybody from the church except the staff. But what we've seen is just what you're describing.
yeah, and it's awesome, and it's really a testimony to this community, that the people are willing to do that. So
You're being offered more children in the chat, by the way.
Okay. How many?
3.
And what age?
3.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I totally don't. Breaking up.
children, people's children.
And are they well behaved?
Oh, yeah.
And why are their
Great.
parents offering them up?
Oh, interviewing them now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a conversation. It's a discussion. Why are you offering up your children? Some other people wanted. Well, one person did message me and they said you can put the poem maybe in the newsletter on Friday. I can't hold us to that. That is a public post though, so I put it out there. But maybe it's for private.
It's
not that private. I'm going to tell you right now.
Are you gonna do it?
Well, for one of the verses, I don't
Okay.
remember all the verses. Okay, just wait.
I think it was the last verse.
I remember the last verse.
Okay, yeah.
Do you need a beat or something?
Lo-fi goatee.
Don't really know what kind of beau would buy me candy and roses. Perhaps I'd find out if I went about waving them under their noses. I can guess with some sureness who I think you are, though. I think you're blonde. I think you're cute. I think you're Jeffrey Germo.
Oh, I love it.
And it was correct. I guessed correct.
You did well. Good for you.
Brilliant. Did you put it to music at all?
No, but I'd like to right now if you have any.
Get some tunes, and we'll go live with. So you were both in the choir. So are you both still musical, play instruments, singing? What's kind of a hobby, or what do you enjoy doing kind of in that world? What do you like to do for fun, I guess?
Great.
You want to start with the music one first?
Sure, let's go with music
There's a lot
and
of
then
questions there.
We can deal with it,
You're
though.
stacking your questions.
We
You're
can-
confusing me.
we can
I like
totally.
double-barreled, triple-barreled questions. Then I
That's-
get off the hook, and it's over to you.
It's totally my style. Don't stop at one question. Go ahead.
Musical. So let's go there.
We're both musical. Actually, we've done music together ever since we've been married. Led worship teams and things like that. I was in a band. I had long hair, like way down to here, and a big beard.
Are there pictures that we can send
There are.
out?
Yeah, I could.
We'll get those
find
to
one.
Yeah,
you.
we need to
Wha-
get those.
Why did
Yeah.
you stop having
Stop
long hair
growing
and a
my
big
hair?
beard?
Right.
That's a
I
good
wanted
question.
him to
Well,
wear it in a ponytail because it would have been perfect, but he didn't.
I have this receding hairline here, and I was, and I was with a group of people, and this one girl was laughing at my hairline. It was really, really long hair, but it was,
What?
I don't know, she was
People do
making
that.
fun of me. And she said, why don't you just cut it off?
What?
And so then,
That wasn't me.
so the next day I shaved it all off
Like,
for her.
There's a good story in the Bible about people laughing at. You
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ladies,
I
this
know.
is why you don't mock men's hair.
I cling
That's
to
right.
that.
It could disappear. Mm-hmm.
So so I play guitar and bass a little bit. Not great, but and I have my guitar here, but I haven't touched it in probably 2 or 3 years.
It's time.
It's time.
I play piano,
Hmm.
so we enjoyed doing music together. Like Jeff said, sometimes leading worship.
So when the church is back able to meet on Sundays and we can have a worship team, we've got 2 more people that we can add to our worship team lists.
Yeah, you're in the schedule. So
You've
Well, you already
both
did
been
that, eh?
slotted in.
Okay.
So I guess on the broader scope, what do you guys like to do for fun?
Well, we do a lot of walking together. I like fishing. I do fly fishing, and photography. So I do a lot of landscape photography. I've got a website where I sell some photos. Not very many, but
what's your website?
What's the website? We got to plug it.
there you go. jeffreyphotographics.com, I think. Is it .com or .ca? I can't remember. jeffreyphotographics.com, I think.
So where's your favorite? You guys are moved over here from.
Hey, wait.
Oh, yeah.
I got hobbies. They're
Go.
different than his. Some of them
I
are
was
the
going
same.
to connect them, but go.
Oh.
You first.
Sorry. So yes, we like hiking, and in the summer we have more outdoor hobbies than in the winter. We've tried to get into winter sports, but we haven't succeeded.
We found it's cold in the winter.
We
Yes.
discovered that. And so we like paddle boarding and canoeing and cycling and hiking in the summer. And in the winter, we like playing games,
Okay, that
Mhm.
counts.
board games, yes.
But you're both from cold places
And we left.
for a reason.
Because we don't like the cold.
So when did you guys come to BC? Did I miss it?
No, we haven't said that yet. We came in 2002.
So in 2002, and we can kind of talk about, I guess, your history and ministry. But so in 2002, you eventually moved to Vancouver Island. You recently moved from Vancouver Island here. Now that you're back here, where are some of your favorite places to walk, hike, cycle, take photos?
Here,
ahead.
you mean?
Yeah, like locally. So what have you
Right.
discovered now being in the South Delta area?
Yeah, well, we walk at Boundary Bay quite a bit, like
Mhm.
Centennial Beach, that, what do you call it there, the bog or whatever. Do a lot of walking there because it's easy access. And we used to walk in Point Roberts a lot at Lily Point when we lived in Swassen for 8 years.
Okay.
And so we would go to Point Roberts a couple times a week and go walking there. We like Boundary Bay is great, but there are no hills, and so we like walking where there's some hills so we can have a little bit of exercise. So there's not many places around here, I think, are there? With a hill?
You're talking to the wrong. There's not a lot of hills around here.
Yeah.
I don't get out much. Cody, where do you hike?
I've lived here for 3 days. I just moved from Surrey, so
I walk along the river if I go out.
I
People
walk
who
around
know me
Walmart.
watching this are
Along the
going.
river where?
West River Road West, just along the dike there.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Along the river sounds nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great sunsets, just somewhere to go clear your head. Great place to bike down there and cycle down there, and yeah, some good trails.
So in Ladner, you mean?
Mhm. Yeah, and then over by Dees Island, some
Okay,
other
yeah.
good riding.
Yeah.
Ride out there. So, somebody wanted to know, and I don't know if you want to pipe in on anything. Just totally interrupt if you got any questions, Code.
oh, I got one that has been clarified. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that, Gloria. I'm sorry. Lefsa?
Lefsa!
Norwegian crepe dish? Yes? Okay, good.
Lefsa!
I was just wondering if
Did
you know
you-
what that is.
Did
Of
you
course.
mention Norwegian already?
Well, I
guess
did in the
from your
sermon
name?
on Sunday.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this a Norwegian person?
I don't know.
Last name?
Gloria, are you Norwegian?
Gloria, are you Norwegian? Let's find out. We're learning about our congregation here today.
That's right.
I'd love to talk with Gloria about Norwegian food.
So what is lefse?
Lefse is it's a sort of a potato pancake. I think I just eat it. My mom makes it.
Potatoes
sisters.
and flour,
Yeah,
and then they're
and it's rolled out
like a crepe.
like a pancake kind of thing, like a big flat pancake,
Mm-hmm.
and then put butter on it and
Brown sugar.
brown sugar, and gets rolled up. And
Gloria
A
will
favorite
make
at
you
Christmas
some.
time.
what's that?
Gloria will make you some.
Oh, that would be awesome because we can't go home.
She's
this
saying
year.
this herself. I'm
Oh,
not
she's
just
saying that. Yeah,
volunteering.
he's speaking on her behalf.
Yeah, she said she'd make me some too.
Oh,
You know
really?
me?
That's
I'm
awesome.
sitting right here.
Gloria, we love you already.
Jeff Scott wants some
Done
too.
for me. Sunday mornings right now. Okay, so we obviously aren't meeting as a church together collectively in person because of COVID. And the people have caught on that we're not live on Sundays.
They caught on. How'd they do that?
We're pre-recorded because they've probably seen us out at Starbucks when we should be preaching. And they should be watching, but anyway, so we were burned. It's not live. It's going to be live,
Yes.
but currently isn't. So what do you guys do on Sundays now?
We actually sit down and we watch the service together. We and it's if you've ever watched yourself preaching, it's pretty stressful.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
I don't like
It's
it.
a bad experience. But we do it anyway because we're martyrs.
Yeah.
We're being martyrs for Jesus,
Yeah.
and it builds character. So
And the worship music is edifying, and it kind of counterbalances that.
It is.
yeah.
Your preaching is phenomenal. You guys are great, you know. I just hate watching myself.
No,
I enjoy watching
Oh,
you.
I thought you were talking about how terrible it was watching me.
Boy,
Right.
I think it's universal.
It's very stressful, and we're our worst critics.
Yes.
You know, it's just, I shouldn't have said it that way, or did I really just say that? You know.
But we've actually enjoyed doing that, and then it's one way that we can get to know the church a little bit better too, because there's Judy or Tracy and Cassidy doing the announcements, and then we watch the children's program as well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And last week, if you watched the sermon and the children's video, you would have noticed some similarities, and it was I thought it was amazing because it seemed like we sat down and talked about what we wanted to address, because they were so similar, but we had no idea, and it's just God working, and the theme was just consistent all the way through. So it's pretty phenomenal.
Wow. Yeah. It's like the Holy Spirit's planning it out. and
He's working.
We're just in it for the ride.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
doing our
right.
part. Jenna Alger, actually, so she sent in a question, and she's, I might be wrong, 6 or 7, somewhere in there. She wants to know why you wanted to become a pastor.
That's a great question, and it's really great having a question coming from a young person like that. I actually didn't set out to become a pastor. I left home when I was 16, and I went and worked up in the drilling rigs in northern BC. And I can remember leaving home. I was on our doorstep in Calgary, and saying goodbye to my dad, and he said, I think God's going to call you to be a pastor. And I wasn't really living for the Lord at that time. And I said, yeah, right, whatever. See you later. And I walked out, and I headed up north, and I went from from job to job for years, not without any direction. So So that would have been in about 76 or so. That's 1976. That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
And
That explains why he's turning 60 on Thursday.
Right?
yeah, thanks for reminding me. So then in 1981 or so, I joined a custom combining crew with my uncle and some other guys, and we went down to Texas, and we pulled combines down there, and then followed the wheat harvest all the way back up to Canada. It took several months. We started in April, I think, and ended up back in Canada in the fall to do the wheat harvest in Saskatchewan and Alberta. The last town that we ended up in was a place where my mom and dad were and my family was living at the time, and I started to go to church with them. And I saw something different about these people than I'd seen before, and they seemed to have a real vibrant faith in Christ. And so I rededicated my life to the Lord there, and I started working with the youth. So I was in my early 20s, and started working with the youth, helping out with a small country church. And the pastor told me that I had pastoral gifts, and suggested that I go to Bible college, and I had a girlfriend at the time, not this one, somebody else, who was a teacher, and I had, this is a little bit of a tidbit of information that I skipped out at the beginning. I was actually politely suggested by the vice principal of my high school that I don't come back.
Just
We're made available for industry or something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
You were built for something else.
That's right. And so I didn't have my high school diploma. And so I had my girlfriend at the time, who's a teacher, suggested that I write my GED, General Equivalency Diploma exam, which I had no idea what that was, and never once had I studied ever. I didn't know how to study. And I bought this big book. I was working on the rigs again, I was staying in a hotel in Brooks, Alberta. I bought this big, thick book on how to study for the GED. In my room, I opened it up, and I realized I had no idea what I was reading. Like, I didn't know anything, like nothing. And I never studied once, so I didn't know what to do, and so I threw the book away. And I went to downtown Calgary, to these in the high rise, and found out when the exam was, and I went and I wrote the exam, and it was all multiple choice, multiple guess, actually. I guessed at almost every one because I knew nothing. And somehow I passed.
Wow.
I have no idea. So I applied to Bible college, and I also had a stutter. When I got nervous, I stuttered really badly, and I couldn't actually get any words out. And I went to the college, Foothills Christian College, where Ruth and I met, and my cousin drove me there, and he parked outside. I walked in, and I just wanted to ask for an application. And I stood and I looked at the receptionist, and I tried to talk, and no words would come out. I was like, I was trying to, and so I was so embarrassed. I turned around and I walked out. And my cousin said, "Where's the application?" And I told him what happened, and so he went in and he got an application for me. And then he helped me fill it out, because I didn't know how to write a complete sentence. I knew nothing. And so he helped me fill it out, and for some reason they accepted me. They were desperate for students. And then, yeah, the rest is history. I think God sort of put a call in my life, and I have no idea why he would choose me because I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Wow.
Like if I saw me back then, I was so shy, I couldn't look anybody in the eye. And I had this bad stutter, and if you looked at me wrong or even right, I would turn beet red, and I was super insecure.
Hmm.
And if I was me, there's no way I would have said, yeah, that guy. So it was the grace of God, definitely. So
Yeah, God has a way of, not necessarily calling the equipped, but equipping the called,
yeah,
speaking through people and working through them. So kind of an old saying,
I think
But,
it's awesome. Yeah,
I'm still waiting for the equipping myself.
waiting for a whipping.
For
Oh,
the
whipping.
equipping.
Oh, that's good. So where else have you both pastored? Where else have you guys pastored? What other churches?
When we came to Vancouver in 2002, we started at Ladner Baptist Church, and there we worked with the youth
Okay.
and
Young adults.
young and
Was Jim Turner still there when you
Uh,
were there?
No,
When you guys were there?
he was when we went there. There was an interim pastor, and Jim Turner was there just before him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he used to come around for visits and whatnot, and so we knew him. We got to
Okay.
know him. Yeah.
The reason why I asked is because I talked to him on the phone the other day, and he knows you both. So
Right, yeah.
Saw his picture on the wall out here. He's associated with this church somehow.
Oh yeah, they came here. The family came here, and they've moved to Langley now, and yeah, so daughter's overseas and married, and they're doing missions, and yeah, so hence why I asked. But okay, so you're at Oak Ridge.
Yes, we're at Oak Ridge, and we worked with the youth there. We were there for 2.5 years, or maybe it was 3.5.
3.5, I think.
And after that,
And I was 40 years old when I started there, and I told them I can only handle 2 years working with youth at the age of 40.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's reasonable.
Thank you. Thank you. and then after 2 years, so Virgil Olson, who was one of my mentors, he was the interim pastor there, and so after 2 years he stepped down as interim, and then I took over as interim, and then was called to Grace Baptist, which was in Ladner here.
Right, I remember that.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I grew up at one of the other churches around here, and
Yeah.
yes. So before we started this, Ruth, you were telling me of an embarrassing moment, maybe one of the most embarrassing moments as a pastor that you witnessed of Jeff. Am I allowed to even go there?
oh, I did mention that, didn't I?
You did, but it wasn't on camera.
No,
we had
no,
it.
it wasn't.
PG.
Rated PG.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
the one
PG.
you're referring to?
Yeah. So the most
Yeah.
embarrassing moment, like whenever I've gone up, to take the pulpit or to even worship team, is I'm stressed about like a wardrobe malfunction. Just something goes
So many
wrong.
things could go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've never had this, so.
Well,
So
Jeff,
we gotta know
here we go.
what's
This
an
is-
embarrassing
this-
moment as a
Well,
pastor.
I'm happy to share, somebody else's embarrassing moment. And so Jeff was at a business meeting, which I found out was quite a tense business meeting. And there was a break, and he had to go to the bathroom, and he's wearing a headset mic. And when he left, the sound man left at the same time. And that's why when Jeff went to the bathroom and his mic was still on, the sound man wasn't there to mute it.
Oh, I love it. That is
Right. And then when he came back, all that tension had just disappeared and everybody was laughing.
The Holy Spirit moved through the place.
right.
A holy laughter.
So if you were both to offer us kind of as a newer in this, some mentorship, if we're in a tense meeting, take a microphone and go to the bathroom.
That's right.
It's
right.
foolproof.
It works.
Just
Yeah.
just say, I gotta pee.
Take
That's
And then walk off.
Yeah, right at
to bathroom.
right. So obviously it's we both are named Jeff. So
Yes.
what should we What should we call you? Because I mean, some other nicknames for me may not fly here. So
Okay. What are some of those nicknames?
I'm my other world.
He's Watch Commander Jeff,
Yeah.
Watch Commander Scott.
I
That's
don't know.
my favorite.
Commander in chief.
I don't want to be down that road.
Um,
So what would you prefer us as a church, or should I change my name?
Yeah, I
which
think you
is
should
fine,
change.
You
Yeah.
should
it. Why not?
consider it.
Yeah.
You're the bosses, so
Yeah.
whatever.
I think Jake's available.
Jake's available.
Jake works. Yeah,
I like Jake.
Jake works.
Yeah.
Let's call you Jake.
I would go with Jake, but the staff have been calling me PJ.
PJ
Yes.
for
for Pastor Jeff,
right.
Pajamas.
and it
Oh,
differentiates because if we get confused
We do.
because we both have the same name.
Well, when we were mic checking and Steven said, "Jeff, check your mic,"
Yes, we
We didn't
both
know.
checked our mics.
we didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't actually do anything. I didn't move.
I'm a tutor, and this might seem unrelated, but it isn't. And so I work with a little guy online. We read stories together sometimes. And so we read the story of Paul Bunyan and his logging company, and he had 6 guys working for him, and he called them all Almer, so that when he called, they would all run.
I love
They
it.
would all come running. So there's some value to that.
That works. Just somebody just bellow Jeff, and we'll come running. or
You'll
come
get
running.
a pastor. Yes.
Somebody will show up. So how did you end up at LBC?
Well, I had so previous to this, we were in Camel River and had a thriving ministry there, but it became too much for me. I had a burnout, and I went on a medical leave, and I've said this in one of my sermons recently here that I went through a depression as well, and I told the Lord, this was probably 3 months ago now. I said I'm done. I don't think I can do this anymore. And if you're going to call me, if I'm going to be in ministry, it's going to have to definitely be you calling me. And then it was the next day or two, I got a call from Todd Chapman asking if I would look at interim work at Ladner Baptist. Now, I had previously submitted my name, my profile and resume here for the lead pastor position, and at another church as well. That other church invited me to candidate, and so then I told Ladner Baptist that I have to pull my name because this other one had called me, and then I told the other church that I actually didn't feel ready to go on. Emotionally, mentally, physically, I was still burned out, and I said I need to pull my name. So, and then I told the Lord, I'm just done. I don't think I can do this anymore. And if you want me in ministry, you're going to have to call me again. And so just a couple days later, Todd Chapman called and asked if I would take a look at it, and so here we are.
So your phone literally rang.
It literally rang.
That's a call.
That
You
was
know?
a call.
Okay, God, I'm done. I need you to call me.
Yeah.
I mean, how much clearer can that be, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he said that to God, and then Todd called.
Right. Yeah.
And those words rhyme.
I love it. God through Todd.
There you go.
Right.
That's what Todd-
Oh, that's exciting. So, anything on your end? I still have a few more.
Yeah, the one question I haven't answered, just asking, considering that your time here is temporary, what sort of goals do you have? What do you hope to achieve in your time here, especially considering COVID restrictions and
Yeah.
such?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think the biggest thing we want to achieve is to build staff team, and because it's really hard to build church unity because we can't meet, but we can set some groundwork. And so the biggest thing I think is to build team and unity among the staff and really understand what our roles are so that we're ready for when the new lead pastor will know that the time is right to call the new lead pastor whenever that is.
That's
So
good.
Building team.
Building team,
Yeah.
really preparing the ground. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And helping us have a. It's really easy in ministry to be siloed. There's the children's ministry, there's youth ministry, there's the small groups, there's the Sunday morning worship ministry. There's all these different ministries, and it's easy for them to become siloed and forget about each other in between times. And so one of the big goals is going to be to knock down those silos and to be working as a team, so we're all seeing we have one unified mission, one unified vision, and overarching purpose for this next 6 months, whatever it is, and we're working on that together. And so that'll be I think the big thing.
so then as we as staff, as ministry leaders are working on team and unity in that, especially because of COVID, we can't physically meet as a body in the church. What's some advice or what's some insight for the members of the church? If I'm a member at LBC, I'm not necessarily running a ministry, I'm not part of the staff team. What am I doing now? I can't meet during COVID. What is the church during
Right.
this season?
Yeah, that's a great question too, and because if we don't engage people, then if we sort of reduce it down to sheep, if you don't feed the sheep, they go elsewhere looking for food, right? And so we need to be figuring out ways to keep the church engaged. And this is a great time. This COVID is actually a blessing, really, in some ways, because it's a chance for the church to ask some serious questions about what is the church. Because the church is more than just the church gathered on Sunday morning. The church is a people. This building that we're in right now, we're sitting on the stage in what we call the sanctuary, and I don't actually like using that word, the sanctuary, for this, because it sounds like this is holy, this is set apart, but out there isn't. And so it's all really a sanctuary. God is everywhere. And so how do we be the church out there? Because that's really the question that we should be asking when COVID isn't here. How do we be the church out there? We have however many people living in Ladner, Tsawwassen, South Delta area that are members of this church, and right now they're in their communities, and everybody can be asking that question: how can I, as a follower of Jesus Christ, love the people around me? And it's going to look different in a COVID world than a post or pre-COVID world. So how do I love my neighbors right now in these COVID times? And that should be a question that we always ask ourselves, COVID or no COVID, and so that we aren't just thinking that we're the church when we're gathered here.
Right.
We're the church out there, and as we do that, and we allow ourselves to marinate in the love of Jesus, and allow his love to so overtake us that we get taken with Jesus. That love is going to ooze out of us and get onto some of the people around us, and so that's the goal. So then we want to hear from others too about how do we do this, because this is brand new for all of us. Nobody knows how to do this.
It was kind of an exciting time to be listening to God together to see how he leads, ways the Holy Spirit can put on all of our hearts to
Yeah.
be the church now.
Yeah, and it's almost like the blessing in disguise from COVID is an identity crisis, if you will. Is like, what am I as a Christian, and why do I show up Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and I leave at 10:15? What? Now that that's not there, what am I doing? And
Right.
What's actually left? What are the, if you hone it down to the essence of what it means to be a Jesus follower? It's, yes, I think it is a blessing in disguise to have some of the trappings taken away and think to what's the essence of it.
yeah,
And then even for staff, what does it mean for staff? Like, how do we do our job and engage the church in these times, and so that we can easily wrap our identity up in what we do.
mm-hmm.
And I was talking with somebody about this yesterday, another pastor. I think one of the big reasons for pastoral burnout is we tend to identify as a pastor. And so 24/7 we're a pastor. When that's really the wrong way of looking at it, because first I'm a child of God.
Well, yeah,
And so I should be, sitting in the presence of my Father and letting Him feed me and love me, and then out of that minister to the people that He's given me to minister. But my identity is not pastor. That's what I do.
mm-hmm.
But it's so easy for us as pastors to wrap ourselves up in that pastor cloak and think that that's who we are. That's not who we are. It's what we do. It's what God's called us to do, and it's an important job, but it's not who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're a child of God, child of the King, and completely loved by Him. And so to sit with Him and enjoy Him, and then out of that, let that love flow onto others.
Yeah. So I hear where it's like, know Jesus more in this season. Spend time at the feet of the Father, and just receive that, as a child of God, and from that overflow, I can love my neighbor.
Absolutely. And that's not just for a pastor, but for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
every person in the church. Sitting with Jesus and becoming acquainted with Him, not just intellectually, because it's so easy to intellectualize God. But God's real, and the Bible tells us actually that Jesus actually lives in us.
Right.
And so the same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives in us. And so if that's true, and I believe it is, then there should be some reality more than just an intellectual knowledge of God.
Right. It's not, just loving God with my mind. It's my heart, soul, strength as well.
Yeah.
And then out of an overflow of that is my love for my neighbor, and speaking into their life and supplying for maybe their day-to-day needs, and whatever that looks like. My context might be different than your context, will be different than Cody's context, but the bottom line is to love our neighbors and make disciples and know Jesus more and more and more every day. Yeah. Anything else from the online?
I think we got it all.
So we've only got maybe another couple minutes before we conclude. Is there anything else that, as a church, so I think we've heard a lot. I mean, that's not the totality of who you both are, but as a church, I know that we still want to get to know you. The church, the congregation still wants to get to know you both. Is there anything else you want to share about who you are and what you're excited about, maybe about the days, weeks, and months ahead joining the congregation of LBC?
Yeah, I've been excited about I didn't know how I would feel coming back into ministry because it's been a year and a half, really. And I was pretty scared because I didn't know how I was going to be able to handle it mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and I really came to doubt myself a lot too in that burnout time, and so coming back in and spending time with the staff and the board and seeing how the staff and the board, they just really love Jesus and really love each other, and it's been a beautiful place to be for us so far. It's been amazing, and so I'm looking forward to more. I'm looking forward to growing with each of the staff, and I don't want to be seen. I'm not an expert at anything. I'm a fellow traveler that stumbles along just like everybody else, and I'm not an expert, but I like to Paul told Timothy, he said, I think it was Timothy, he said, I'm the chief of sinners. Was it Timothy? Can't remember. He said is it Timothy?
Yeah, sounds right.
Sounds right. Why not? Timothy.
To the
Somebody look
Philippians,
up
maybe?
that up right
It
now.
may have been to the Philippians.
Philippians.
Oh,
think
maybe
it
it's
was
Philippians.
Philippians.
Maybe it is.
He said it to the church,
He
and
said it to the
Timothy's
church.
part of that.
That's right.
Maybe it was Timothy. I could be
It might have been
It
Philippians.
could have been Philippians.
It could have been Philippians.
Google it.
It's Timothy.
You're
it
right.
Timothy?
Timothy. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, okay, I am an expert. So, but he said, I am the chief of sinners. And I think he meant it. And what he meant by that is not that he's the worst sinner, but that when he sins, and he, in Romans 7, he described himself struggling with sin, he goes to the cross. And so he models the way to the cross when he sins. And so as the chief sinner, and I think the lead pastor, the title should be changed to chief sinner. Because
We could try it.
could try
We'll call
it, see
you
how that
CS
works.
for short.
Changing it on the website.
Yeah, change
Right
it
now
on
you're
the website.
changing it.
Chief sinner.
But lead people, I go to the foot of the cross and then lead others to do the same.
Yeah.
And so we're all stumbling along where I'm awkward at loving, and yet I'm allowing Jesus to change my heart and develop those fruit of the Spirit in me, and then hopefully modeling how to go to the cross. What was the question?
I don't know, but that's a great answer.
That's a great answer
To whatever question it was.
whatever question it was. Yeah, just it was more like a final words thing and what you're excited about and looking forward
Okay.
to moving forward. And I think as a person at this church and a member of this church, it's not people who are holier than thou that we're following, but it's people that know how to lead people to the cross because
Right.
you've been there
Right.
and you go there and you know what the path looks like to get there.
Yeah.
And so I can follow you there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm broken. I don't like to follow somebody who comes across as I guess there's with this one up, one down mentality. Like, I know the way, and so follow me. But somebody who knows they're broken, but also knows the one who can heal them and love them.
Right. And
Um,
one beggar showing another beggar where the food is.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruth, anything else from you?
Well, I think that it's quite exciting to be able to be in this opportunity, like we were saying earlier, where things are different because of COVID, and Romans 8:28 says that in all things God works for good, and one of the notes in my Bible says another way to interpret that is, in all things, God works together with those who love him for good. So we can join God in working for good in every situation, including COVID, including things very different in the church and big challenges, but they're opportunities for God to do something different and God to lead us to do things different and to love people in a different way. And I think that's exciting.
That is exciting. Yeah.
And we are looking forward to, we're getting to know the staff a little bit and some of the board members, and I'm hoping we're here long enough that we're going to be able to get to know some of the congregation as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Awesome. Well, I think I can freely speak on behalf of the church. We're very excited to have you both here. And how God has orchestrated this, is above all of us. But we're all in the same room virtually together, and I think it's a divine appointment that we're all here. And as a church, we're very, very excited for both of you to be here. As a church, we're going to continue to love people, love God, and serve our community. I think that's an exciting season that we're in. I think some of us are experiencing some COVID fatigue, and we're exhausted from it. But I think getting back to the main point, like what you both shared with loving God, sitting at the foot of the Father, and out of an overflow, loving my neighbor.
I'm tired of smelling my own breath.
Right? Yeah, no more masks.
No more masks. I'm really tired of that.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah. My breath?
Yeah, we're happy about the mask for that.
But hey, you're really good at this interviewing thing.
It's fun.
You should have a talk show.
Yeah, right. Oprah, look out. Here
there
I come.
Go,
or whoever else's talk show.
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah.
Stephen Colbert.
We could do late night talk show.
There
Right after this, we've got our late night with us.
There you go.
That would be fun. Anything else from you, Code?
I think we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And thank you to Stephen up here.
Yes, Stephen Twomley.
Technical guy up there, yes.
Tech guy up there making sure this is flowing. So awesome. Everybody out there, thanks for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing everybody eventually together in person. And we'll do more of these discussion forums together, and we can talk about topics, whatever is kind of current events, and how does the church respond to certain things that are happening in our community, in our region, in our world. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Awesome. Bye-bye.